Hey, here we go again. So this one's the ongoing saga of the Gaslighter Chronicles, Young Love and Old Farts. So what I want to do is start and try and prove. I want to start this session and try and prove using a video, a really lovely little video, that the spiritual story, this enlightened condition that's available to humans, is with us all the way. It's not like the fucking bullshit Christian story that basically says that sin's within us, but this potential for sin or evil and this potential for God or goodness is within the humans. Just 1 second. That's just the trolls, internet trolls. Now, so what I want to talk about is this idea that this love and this potential for evil or selfishness is with us for the whole story. So let's watch the videotape. Which one's which? That one there, I hope. Okay, let's go.
Mom, are you ready to be his friend?
Yes.
Try not to be.
So as you can see, this is a young child, maybe about 4 years old, perhaps. Oh no, it says 6-year-old. She's certainly a youngster. She's talking to a mum who's divorced from her dad.
That high up to be friends. I want everything to be low. Okay?
Okay.
Just try your best. I don't want you and my dad to be replaced and meanies again. I want you and my dad to be placed and settled and be friends. I'm not trying to be mean. I just want everyone to be friends. And if I can be nice, I think all of us can be nice too. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm trying to do my best in my heart. Nothing else than that. I want you, Mom, my dad, everyone to be friends. I want everyone to be smiling. Not like being mad. I want everything to smile. Especially when I see someone, I want them to smile. Especially Nana, everyone. I want everyone to smile.
So everyone, so this child, it's coming from her naturally. This is nature. She doesn't have to be prepared for this. It just flows out of her. And she's talking about everyone. And that's the natural condition of the good part, or the herd survival instinct, I say, within all humans. You know, you might, spiritualists might, or religious people might say the God within, the living Father, is another term. And she's talking from that position at that age. She couldn't have possibly been taught this stuff.
If that's for my dad and you, Mom, I think you can do it. I think you can settle your mean heights down a little to short height. Then it's both, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a bully. I'm trying to be steady on the floor, not way down, on straight, on the middle where my heart is. My heart is something. Everyone else's heart is something too. And if we live in a world where everyone's being mean, everyone's gonna be a monster in their future. What If there's just a little bit of persons and we will eat them, then no one will ever be here. Only the monsters in our place. We need everyone to be a person. Everyone, including me and my mom, everyone. I just want everything to be settled down. Nothing else. I just want everything to be good as possible. Nothing else.
Thank you, Taylor. Come give mommy juju. I love you.
I love you too.
And that's what it's all about.
Mom.
Whoa, that's what it's all about. The last bit, love. What is true love? It's the love the mother has for the child. That's probably the most evident example. But it's natural. It just comes from the. You don't have to, fucking go spend 20 years in a monastery to develop it. It's there. You just got to realize it, I guess, and live it. All right, so that's good. Now, so that's the good story, the good wolf story. Now, let's go and have a look at what the old farts of this world get up to. Now, this is me. And the first time I've seen them, so I hope there's no big surprises. There usually isn't. If you live by the truth, you can sort of handle most things, I think, without any fear or favour. So this is a guy called Sydney Winston. Now, I thought he was 70. Apparently he's 75. So he's in reasonable nick for that age. But he's an old fart that spends his time on the internet basically gaslighting, which is psychologically abusing people for entertainment, I guess. I still don't know what his true agenda is yet. Now, let's watch.
Well, Dad. Yeah, but is he here?
So he's got an accomplice, or several, probably about 15 or 16 there. One of them's a guy called Bulldog 101. Now, what I do, they bully and play with me, so I give them a bit back. So I call this Bulldog Bulldud.
No, he's had his mic muted for a while. You were the one who had to answer my questions about where he lived. So obviously he's not really paying attention.
I'm here. All right, I was doing something else.
You were the one who...
You're watching the live feed then, right?
Hey, you really shouldn't be jerking off on a live feed, right?
You didn't say I couldn't. There's no law. It's not written in the Constitution that I can't.
Fair enough.
Hey, we gotta get Pat in here.
Hey, wait.
No.
That's a guy called Ubuntu. He's an Indian. Someone reckons he's a Mexican. It's hard to get a straight story out of these folks, but there's a voice there that I haven't recognised yet.
But no, that's a whole nother show.
Bulldog, you're from Western Australia, right? Are you from Perth?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Do you know of the group Pendulum?
Yes.
Okay. They are my favorite drum and bass group.
Are they?
Yes, I love Pendulum. Do you like D&B?
D&B.
Drum and bass.
Oh yeah, of course I do.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
Bit of bullshit there. I wonder whether he's actually heard it.
that's awesome, dude. I was just going to say, because you're from Perth, they're from Perth. I love Pendulum.
And not everybody from Perth is fucking okay. We've got a fucking lot of idiots over here, by the way.
Well, I'm sure, but
Even Botman.
you're the only person that I could ask, do you know who Pendulum is? And if you're not,
I got you.
yeah.
Got it.
So that's pretty awesome.
And how
Who gives a shit?
did you get onto that anyway? How'd you find them?
Well, I've been an electro head for a long time. I love electro music. And I was listening to a D&B mix. And at one point they threw in Voyager by Pendulum. It's a really fucking great song. And so I started looking them up, and then I found their albums.
Did Pendulum do Tarantula and Propane Nightmares? I think
that. Speaking of nightmares, that's a guy called Spazwold the Almighty, intellectual fraud and internet gaslighter. Parent as well, you know, unbelievable. These sadistic, cruel human beings are.
Yes, they did. Yeah, Tarantula's from Hold Your Color, and Propane Nightmares is from
I wouldn't entirely describe them as drum and bass.
Well, okay. When they started out, they were drum and bass. As they went on, it turned into sort of a fusion of rock and drum and bass and electro and all kinds of things. In Silico especially is sort of a fusion. But definitely Hold Your Color is one of the best D&B albums out. I mean, it's almost pure D&B. There's no rock in there, really. So,
well, I don't know. I've only listened to like the songs that have been on the radio, like Tarantula and Propane Nightmares. But if you say they started out more drum and bassy, I think it's possibly because normally people like drum and bass, so that's probably why their softer stuff became more popular.
Well, what it really was when they first started out, they had a rock band called Zygen, or Oxygen, however you want to pronounce it, Exogen. And then as they moved on, two of the main guys, Rob Swire and Gareth McGrillen, kind of broke off and created their own drum and bass group called Pendulum, and they made the early Pendulum hits. Things like, you know, you would hear in Hold Your Color and Voyager and all those, and Another Planet and all those songs. And then the other guys from Zygen, or whatever the hell you want to call it, said, hey, let's get together and make a thing. So Pendulum came together and made sort of a rockish group, and that's when In Silico was released, and they made, you know, Propane Nightmares. Tarantula is actually from Hold Your Color, and it's very drum and bass. But then, you know, they kind of morphed into something different.
So you know,
But that's cool.
We are reviewing. Huh? We are doing a review of a YouTube video that was found on Secular Opinions channel. Thank you, Secular. Called Rob Beasley, Confession of a Child Predator.
Right.
Alright. Are you all ready for this?
I don't know. I was just talking about Pendulum just a second ago. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Oh, well, we're waiting for Amy, really.
No, I know what's going on. I'm just kidding. I was just happy and nerding out that somebody actually knew.
Yeah, that's Tim, everybody. And we got Chaswell, we got Bunto, we got Bulldog, and Amy.
The group seems to be fucking shrinking somewhat, Sydney. Now, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be showing a thing from last year, which was constructed by this guy called Secular Opinion. Now, it does use my voice, but it re-emphasizes it quite a lot. And there's a story that sits behind this particular video. Oh, pardon me. So they, of course, because there's an explanation for the behaviors, what these people do is they don't give a shit about that. They want to extract a portion of it and then basically make that the story because that suits their argument. So what I'm doing, I'm actually cleaning the floor with these people, and they hate it. They absolutely hate it.
Indeed.
With us today.
A pity I couldn't get into that room with them.
Well, we will have Amy. So, how about...
Now, the other thing about these clowns is that they're, or clownish behavior, is that they're not able to debate with me anymore. I've worked out all of their tricks and their crap. And so they're beaten and bruised and they're getting desperate.
We just start playing the video and see what happens. You know, right now we'll start playing it and then we'll see if all the audio is working and everything, okay?
Well, what did you do your audio check beforehand, you silly old fart?
There's been an allegation made against me. My name's Rob Beasley. I live in Melbourne, Australia. And the allegation is that I'm basically predating.
Anything?
We'll let it roll. So with me, I want to tell the truth. And I'm not a sexual predator. I'm happily married, got 7 kids. So let's see what this is all about.
Can't see anything.
No. I'm talking about the audio itself.
No, I can hear it.
1 second.
Barely,
Sorry.
but go ahead.
Hello, viewer number 1.
Wait, hold on.
No,
Is this a YouTube video that I can watch on my own?
Sure. Yeah, it's in the detail section.
Now, what they're doing, they're setting this dude up, and he's realised, fucking hell, I better see what I'm getting myself set up for. What they're doing is they're desperate to get numbers because they're getting fucking beaten. They've got no hope. There's only one of me and a whole stack of them, and I'm just beating them, not physically harming them, but I'm just controlling the whole affair.
Turn it up to
But
definitely
Bulldog,
loud.
are you monitoring the live feed?
I played it from the outside. It's coming through okay.
All right, go ahead.
More cowbell.
Yeah, more cowbell. I can't hear the cowbell.
More cowbell.
So what's going on here? Hello, viewer number 2. What's going on here is a group of gaslighting bullies, old farts that should know better, basically trying to frame me for something. And it raises a whole suite of questions. But let's hear what the pricks have got to say. Well, for one, why the fucking hell bother? Why not go and have your hangouts? Well, the big question is, why are you doing this? Hello, viewer number 2. The big question is, why the hell are you doing this stuff? You old farts. Well, I know why. They get kicks out of it, but this one's kicking back.
We are like. So what? There's been an allegation made against me. My name's Rob Beasley. I live in Melbourne, Australia. And
so what I'm doing, I'm declaring who I am, where I fucking live. I'm scared of nothing.
The allegation is that I'm basically predating on a 15 or 14, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so that's their allegation. So they've taken it upon themselves to be the kangaroo court of the fucking internet rather than call the police. That's got to say something. Fucking hell. Wake up, folks. It's got to say something's wrong here.
14-year-old boy from Canada who's quite a gifted young fella. And he's...
yeah, he is extremely gifted. The thing that sort of struck me about the dude, because I know spirituality, well, I know it really well. I call myself enlightened. That gets up their nose as well. And I saw those qualities in a 15-year-old, and it just blew me away. And, you know, that's the reason that I kept engaging with the guy, just learn some more about this, because spirituality is everything to me. So, and the kid was really intelligent too. He built a car racing game in about 4 weeks, which was very impressive.
Well, it's coming through good.
I'm sure.
Thank you.
And my friend Benny is sure.
My ex-friend Benny, I used to hang with this bloody dude, and I knew he was involved with this lot, but I thought that he was, a half decent human being, but he's just bad to the bone. So that's Benny. He used to hang with me and be in hangouts, and then he would go back and keep these guys informed. And then they'd use that to sort of try and gaslight me, which is psychological abuse. That's what goes on. So if you ever... Hello, viewer number 2.
that this young fella is enlightened, and he's actually one of the most clever human beings.
He was 14 in age, but he was 17 apart.
No. 15, I think he fucking was. And this is the gaslighters, because this is what gaslighters do. They make up fucking ideas in their head. That's called delusions. I reckon these guys should get locked up in the nut house, in my opinion. See how they like it.
Yeah, well,
He was what?
Yeah, I said he was 14 at age, but he was 17 at heart.
I never said fucking that at all. I just said he's 15. And see, this is where I get in trouble with these pricks. I just tell them what I do. I just don't. There's no filter. And then they go and turn it into a sex predator story when, in fact, what it was, I said to the kid, because of his enlightened state, I just checked that he knew what true love was, which is, you know, the love from mother for child, child and mother, father. That's all true love. And I just said, is that how you feel about your new girlfriend? And he said, yes. And so once I knew true love was in place, because that's really important to me, you have true love first before you engage in any sexual activity. Now, think about this too. Masturbation happens around about 12, 13, somewhere in that ballpark. And no one teaches people that. That's self-discovery. People learn that. These guys fucking try and say that I'm teaching them to masturbate. Yeah, well, fucking show me who teaches masturbation. It doesn't happen. What I did do though is, and you know, this is probably where I might have stepped out of line. I did say to the kid, hello, viewer number 3, explore each other's bodies, because a male does not know the female body. Female does not know the male body as well as the thing. So explore each other and guide each other. And that was the end of the discussion. Afterwards, I thought, that should have been his father that did that. But remember, this is an exceptional person that's spiritually enlightened. So from that point, I thought, I'm not going to do that again. And it was a special circumstance. And I didn't. To this day, I haven't done it. What I am interested in doing, though, I'd love to have that sort of talk. Is this the most efficient way to give sexual education? Then hand that back to the parents, and the parents, introduce it to the child. And that's all I did. That's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And my wife at least will verify that, because she knew exactly what I was doing. But these pricks took it and turned it into sexual predation. Now, there's a reason they did that. One of the accusers, a guy called John May from Western Australia, he actually did something pedophilic-like by asking 2 15-year-old boys to pull their penises out. So when I saw that, I actually fucking confronted him. And I confronted him with the actual video evidence. We've still got the copy of that video evidence. It's on my channel. So, a bit of an inconsistency going on here. Some real pricks. So what you've got, the true story is you've got a bunch of bullying, gaslighting victims, and look at it, right? There's fucking more of them than me. I'm on my own. And you've got me doing a loving, caring thing for another human being versus, and they label that sex predation, versus a guy that asked 15-year-old boys to pull their penises out online. No comparison. But anyway, here we go.
Says you or says he?
Well, it's just the way he's describing it. It does
Just
sound
listen to this guy.
like, if you take it out of context, it does sound a bit like he's describing a grooming.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Look,
so just hand over to Raven, who thinks that
this fucking video. All right, they've been trying to pin this on me for ages, but nothing happened. That's all that happened. Now, so it goes through a lot of crap here. Wonder whether I should bother going. I'll let it go a bit so we have a look at it, because they got another couple. So I'll look at a bit of it and then I'll switch down to the next video and see where we end up.
maybe things aren't what they
You know what
seem.
I've just thought of? grooming is quite a big thing.
Oh, yeah, he's using the word grooming. It's fucking grooming my ass. I told a 15-year-old boy, make sure that true love, not fake fucking love, is in place. The kid knew exactly what I meant by that. So that very, very, very important thing was in place. There was no discussion about masturbation or any of that. It was simply saying that make sure that you explore each other's body and let the expert of that body guide the non-expert. That's all. Nothing more fucking complicated than that.
Goes on in the theatre, young actors and stuff, obviously they go into the theatre.
Yeah, talk about theatre. This is the delusional shit that these gaslighters go through. I often wonder if the fuckers know what they're up to. I know that they must know that they're building a lie, but just the mechanics of it still. So I know all the mechanics. I know how it works, but I just wonder if there's not some sort of instinctual thing that's driving it, and they're not fucking mentis compass about it.
They meet the older actors and directors and stage managers and stuff, and obviously,
I think that'll do for that shit. So I know pretty much where that'll go. Shit, hang on. What did I do? That was one. Bugger. Yeah, maybe this one.
Who thinks that maybe things aren't what they say.
All right, hang on. This one here, part 2.
He left that.
Now, this stupid prick here is Sydney Winston, right? Sydney Schneider is his true name. Oh, pardon me. That thing there, that thing there. If you go to, those are the 12, 9, 11 to 12, whatever, satanic rules of the earth or some shit. I've read them. They're a fucking load of crap. So it's probably the reason he's so screwed in the head. Here we go.
Hang out, didn't he?
Who's that?
Yeah, he left the hang out.
That's wild.
Hang on, look, roll the tape. We've gone off topic.
No, well, whatever. I mean, fuck. I talked about something that. Whatever.
Roll the tape.
Sure.
I love it, Bulldog.
Yeah. That's what I do. Fucking copycats. Roll videotape. That's how you do it properly. Bull dud.
Hold on. Where's Sydney?
I think it's in Vancouver.
Fucking needy lot.
He's there.
Right. Did anything I say seem unreasonable to any of you?
Yeah, to me. Everything you say is unreasonable.
I didn't listen to it
Yes.
because I
Yes.
I'm sorry.
but I can listen to it after, right?
No, I heard every word he said, but he didn't back. It was just claims and assertions.
All right, roll the tape.
Fucking copycat.
Alrighty. Let's see if we can get it going.
Perhaps.
We'll take what's your guy. Okay.
22:49. Hold on a minute. I've got to refresh this.
We are live. So what?
Yes.
You to dance a 60-year
Fool. What fool? What fool? Hey, is your daddy a fighter or an army man, or what's his story?
If a predator like you tried to molest one of his daughters, yeah, he would get really violent and beat the fuck out of you, and you'd be lucky if you
Hang on, Raven.
A 60-year-old man has no.
All right. Settle fucking down.
Now, this is a young lady. I think, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong here, but she may have had a relationship with John May. I mean, the gaslighters fucking tell you all sorts of shit. So sometimes you don't know what's going on or who's up who. But there was a relationship, right? And she came in targeted, and her task for the group, for the gaslighting group, was to, you know, make me look bad. But if you listen, so if someone accuses you and you're guilty, the reactions are totally fucking different to the way I behave. I keep my composure all the way through because I knew that I was in the right. But the delusional behaviors that go on, oh dear. Anyway, listen to this, lady rattle on.
It's good that you're expressing your emotion because we're dealing with a really important thing here. Remember I said the fight flight, right? Yeah. I know exactly what I'm talking about, Raven. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, tell me about your daddy.
Adults don't listen to Rob, so he goes and preys on underage boys to try to influence them. That's a
Yeah, so what she's saying is, so you've heard the explanation of what, well, it's not, well, it is, the explanation of what actually fucking happened. Now, I got the kid's account, but he's not active on G+. So push comes to shove, I can easily give that to the police or whoever, and it'll validate my story. But not only that, my wife will validate the story. And her credibility as a human being in society will, you know, validate her. These people, fucking hell, their story, if we could just get into their personal story, that will validate what I say about them, that they're a bunch of egotistical fucking sadistic pricks. Because, you know, you don't switch that shit off. Well, you should, but they don't. They choose not to. They've all got probably some sort of bloody history of being abused at some point. Basket cases. Now, let's hear Raven.
It's only one 15-year-old boy, and I haven't spoken to him yet.
So that's the thing too. Her language was, you know, you're a predator, which means that you're fucking out doing this stuff all the time. That's what they do. They gaslight you on these points. Why? Fucked if I know. Oh, well, other than, sorry, it feeds their ego. So it's like dramas. They're like drama queens.
It's 20, it's still wrong, Rob.
Okay. Now, tell me about your daddy. Do you love him? Do you love him? Do you love him? Do you love him?
Yeah, now what I do there, that's deliberate, and I'll do it a bit with, you know, egotistical pricks. I'll ask them, because it gives me some feedback too about them. I'll say, do you love, you know, your daddy, right? Now, that relationship, that love should, if all things equal, should be yes. So if they don't say yes, then there's a fucking problem. Like, I'm comfortable saying I love my wife, I love my kids, I love my mum, I love my dad. No problem. Nothing to be embarrassed about. I just say it as it is. But these people, it trips them up. She does admit it though later on, so I know it's there, so she's fine with it. But I do a little bit of teasing. I call it a Pharisee lie in this one.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Hey, Raven.
Well, I think Bulldad might have been a relationship daddy.
Do you love your daddy?
Yeah, we see how enlightened you are. Go ahead, share some more of your sick, twisted ideology, Rob. Go ahead.
So she's just said sick and twisted. Now, I can defend my idiotology by reference to spirituality all the way through the ages, religious text, it all fucking works. But they don't give a shit about that. They just give a shit about, you know, targeting their victim and causing psychological harm.
All right, thank you, Raven. Raven, do you love that? Raven, do you love that? Raven.
Yeah, Rob, tell us all about it.
Raven, do you love Dad?
Do I love who?
Your dad.
You damn right, because he'd have beat a predator piece of shit 60 years old.
Well, fucking hell, that's an admirable quality. But yeah, maybe I'm not that convinced. I think she does in real terms.
All right. Hang on.
My daddy was a real man. My daddy was a real man.
Yeah, well, hang on, Raven.
He didn't have heels of telling other people about morality.
Raven.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. You're great.
Yeah,
You're right.
hey, Benny. Benny, is it Benny or what? Can you see if you can get your bits in his now?
So what that was, and this is where that was the name. Oh, so I'm not going to mention it again, but that was the name of the guy, the Canadian kid. And I asked Benny to get him here, and he should have just went bang quick, but he didn't. He fucked around, and that's what Benny usually does. He screws you over.
That'd be cool.
So you can have company.
Now, come on, Rob. Share more of your ideology.
Yeah, well, Raven, trying to.
Now, what she's trying to do there is they're trying to profile you, right? Because, well, I say that I'm enlightened. I say that Jesus is a real person. I say that his philosophy is 100% correct. Oh, but that's not the norm condition. So they want that out on the table because they can then say, oh, look at this idiot, he thinks this, delusions of grandeur, and he thinks about Jesus. Jesus isn't real. So they're trying to profile you. So there's a lot of rat cunning going on. But at the end of the day, when you know the mechanism, it's really easy to tear it apart and define exactly what they do.
Fighting you, my dear.
I don't want you to, but go ahead, explain it.
Not yet.
Yeah, see, I picked up. But that's what she's doing. She's just saying, all right, let's get some stuff around this guy that reflects someone that's different from norm.
I'm trying to. So we spoke about Dad. The Dad, like.
That might do me for that one. Pardon me. Because I've seen the rest of that, and if you want to watch it, it's on the Sydney Schneider Winston channel. So let's go back and have a look at their third one. So I'm just trying to skim through things a bit more efficiently and not spend too fucking much time on it. And I might have Rose coming down. So here we go. This might be interesting. So one of the techniques I use to take full control of these gaslighters, internet bullies, is because what they do is they broadcast their position. And so, like in a debate, they want this block of time to get all the dirt out on you. Then when it comes your time to respond, they don't want to give you that time to respond at all. So that only their message gets out. That's their fucking strategy. So I counter that by saying la 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 when they're speaking. So it drowns out their message. And what it does, so it's not meant to be unfair. I mean, they're entitled to fucking say something, but I'm entitled to defend. So when they start to rein in their behavior and they allow me to have my speak, then I allow them to have their speak. So if they don't pick up that that's how it works, they can fuck off, but it gives me total control, not as in a control freak, but it's just equitable. So they can make any fucking charge they like against me, but I want my time heard. And, if they make a statement, I want to see the fucking evidence for their statement. Pretty reasonable, I'd say. Let's see how they present this.
So you want me to you want to turn me into a hero? Is that what you want?
No, I want you to be enlightened.
Yeah, right. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This guy, Sydney, is 75 fucking years old. His heritage is Jewish. He fucking is a Satanist. I don't get that shit. But he spends his time on the internet, a fucking lot of it, basically basically gaslighting, psychologically abusing people. Fucking appalling. And his life is nearly up. And you only get one life. So I figure if I can enlighten him, it'll take him out of his miserable existence and he'll have at least the last bit of his life, you know, because the enlightened state is a really, really fucking good state to live. It truly is. And yes, you can fucking swear. Although, you know, I'll probably stop swearing at some point, but there you go.
I am enlightened.
No, you're fucking not, you idiot. Otherwise, why would you be doing this shit?
Oh, big time.
No, he's not. That's probably what he gets from his Satanist stuff. But enlightened, one of the key signatures, one of the big signatures is fucking authentic love for all humanity. Sydney's trying to persecute me. Where's the love in that?
No, you fucking not. No way.
Ooh, yeah.
No, you know. You might see you're a selfish prick, and you bully.
See, I gave it to him straight.
People. That's not enlightened. Enlightened is, and that's why you don't have peace of mind. You've probably got a busy thinking mind. I tell you what, Sydney. I'll do it. Fight one of your atheist communities, although I'd probably destroy it.
That doesn't mean hurt him physically. What it means is that I'd win the debate. And I will. I'll bet you my bottom dollar.
Destroy your little reputation, so maybe not.
Oh, how considerate of you. That's so sweet.
Well, I don't want to fucking ruin your life, or anything. I want to actually enhance it.
How are you going to ruin my life?
I don't. I wouldn't. I would never even
Yeah, you fucking ruin it.
consider it, ever.
Then why'd you mention it?
No, you fucking idiot. Listen, I said I do not want to ruin your life by making a fool of you in front of your friends.
How would that ruin my life?
Oh, okay. Well, if it doesn't, let's do it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But it'll be you'll be ruining your life, not me.
That's fine. I'm good. I'm ready to face my fate.
Okay, let's do it. Grab a group of your friends or people that think that you're a fucking intellect, and let's have a debate on something.
What?
Maybe historicity of Jesus, or
no. We are.
Yeah,
I'm convinced.
You fucking chicken. You
All
fucking
my
chicken.
friends know that the historicity of Jesus is that Jesus is a myth.
Okay, good. Well, that makes it a perfect thing because I'll prove you fucking wrong. Hey, Tommy. Hey.
How are you going to prove me wrong?
Tommy.
No, boss. How's work?
Cool, man.
Good stuff, buddy.
Hey Tom, could you put a shirt on, please?
How does fuck off sound, Sydney?
Sounds gay.
Oh, well, fuck off. I'll be gay. Yeah, as long as you fuck off. Fuck off, you mother twat.
You're being overly generous today, Tom.
You don't like it.
You're being overly generous in your compliments today. How about you make animal sounds a little bit?
Sydney, remember when you said I couldn't do it?
You couldn't
Well,
do that.
look, I fucking did it.
I still want to know why, if your name is
I fucking
Stewie,
did it.
if your name is Stewie,
Now, fucking Sydney must be an idiot to put this up, but anyway. We pick up quite quickly when he's trying to run his little profiling agenda. So that's why Tom's not giving him a voice.
I want to know.
What's
If your name is Stewie, why do you have a T around your neck for Tom?
Well, he said, oh, you can't put weight on in a week or two. No, you can't do that. Well,
now? Now, what he's doing there is, he's blowing, or he's letting Tom know that he knows. So Tom has an online persona, just as Sydney. So Sydney Winston is actually Sydney Schneider. And so he's doing that to sort of say, hey, I got more information on you. And why? So he's just trying to psychologically mess with him. That's what he's fucking subtly doing. But Tom knows exactly what that shit's about, and he's just not reacting.
Fucking satire, so
It doesn't fuck about your physique. I'm really not here to discuss your physique.
Yeah, hang on, sorry, Rob. Is my physique not an issue?
I'm afraid that neither is Rob interested in your physique. You're way too old for it.
Now, see what he slipped in there? That Rob's not interested in your physique, i.e. a reference to being gay. And so these are the subtleties, that come through, and then the audience see it, and they fucking unfortunately can bloody take the wrong view. And then the other thing, you're far too old. So that's a reference back to the 15-year-old story. But again, it's nowhere. It's a non-event. It's fuck nothing compared to the accuser's friend, Bulldud, asking 15-year-old boys to pull their penises out on the internet. No comparison. But anyway, away we go.
Hang on, Sydney.
Now, what was that, Rob?
Sydney.
What, Rob?
Sydney.
What? Rob?
Sydney, what are you doing? Whoa. No. Sydney. What are you doing?
Jesus.
Trying to get out of that debate. You're trying to get out of the debate. Let's
debate about what?
Debate.
I just want Tom to stop concentrating on physiques, especially mine, because that's creepy.
I don't give a fuck about your physique. I don't give a fuck about you. You're a fucking snake. I don't give a fuck about snakes. Let's get one thing clear. Oh no, I love Sydney. Now, Sydney.
Now, when I say it, you say, what? That's fucking weird. No, it's authentic love. It's the love for humanity. So I feel sorry for Sydney's predicament, which is his own fucking doing, and I'd like to help him, even though the guy makes my life, or he tries to, well, no, he's succeeded, making parts of my life a fucking nightmare.
You know that you guys are intellectually, you know that you guys are both, you're both intellectually, you know that you're both intellectually bankrupt. Did you know that? If you didn't know.
Yeah, he's just trying to, profile. I'm actually quite intelligent. I mean, I've written a book. What is this thing called? God. Sydney's not written a book. When I talk with rational, normal people, I can have really good and deep discussions. I'd like to think far greater than Sydney's capable of. But he's trying to discredit us. Tom went to about 14 or 15 years at school, or age 14, 15, left. But he's truly gifted, enlightened, and a real nice gentleman. He's had the school of hard knocks. These guys pick up on that history, and then they try and make it as if it's current. That's gaslighting. They've lied. Right? They've lied about the guy, and they do that for psychological abuse. I really, really, really strongly believe that if people gaslight, they should be fucking locked up.
You know that I'm telling you right now.
Sydney.
Who are you calling? Who are you fucking talking to?
No, well, he's going to have a whole group of people on, going to wipe the floor with the fucking lot of them. Sydney, sit up the debate. Rob Beasley versus the atheist. Rob Beasley says Jesus is real and historical. You guys do whatever you fucking like.
No, that's a stupid debate. Because it's like you claiming that the earth is flat. What's the point of having a debate about that?
Well, let's have the debate and see.
What's the point of having a debate about the flat earth? What's the point of that?
Now, I never spoke about fucking flat earth. The earth's a globe, Sydney. Just what he's trying to do there is throw in something that will say these are flat earthers. He's just trying to profile a bad profile.
No,
What's the point of having a debate about a mythical Jesus?
Give it, show him some of that book earlier about fucking that door, when that door opens outwards. If that's not going to make people think, fuck them, they're not working fucking deck.
No.
Listen,
Hey, what?
listen, you guys. Listen, yeah, you the slow group here. I want
to. So again, he slips it in the slow group. Challenge the intellect. I promise you, if that man had the balls to do that debate, we'd easily see who is slow intellectually. Anyway, you should be able to pick it up from here.
How many books have you written, Sydney?
I've only written maybe, I don't know, 5 less than you, 6 less than you.
6 less than me.
How many have you written?
Fucking Sydney, no, mate. I've only written a couple, but.
Oh, then I've written a couple less than you.
So 0, right?
0, absolutely.
What did you just say? 0.
0.
Yeah, that's better. See, that's what I mean about Truth Tweet, you know.
I've never said to you that I've written books. When have I ever claimed to have written a book, Rob?
No, but
Fuck, Sydney. See, he's still playing bullshit game. He's trying to turn that into, what are you doing, Rob? You know, what's your agenda? No, fuck, Sydney, how many books have you written? That's all I asked. The answer's nothing. Well, Sydney, I have, right? So there's a difference.
you call me a nut nut, right? I'm saying that.
Well, yeah, you are a nut because I read your book. It's all very well saying you wrote a book, but when the contents of the book.
And he just realised he made a boo-boo then. He said he read the book. I fucking already picked him up on that a couple of times. And I think I'm going to pick him up on it again.
Is Douglas Adams like, and it's not.
Now, this is what happens when someone knows they've been caught out. They fucking try and fucking divert the conversation. So, Sydney, you've been caught again.
Sydney.
Trying to be serious.
Oh.
Let me answer, Sydney. Let me answer. Right, what are the 5 corruptions?
So a big part of my book was these 5 corruptions. So anyone that has read my book will know exactly what they are. So I went into quite a bit of detail. And I'm not going to say what they are at this point. Go buy the book.
You wrote the fucking book.
But you said you read it.
Come on, tell us.
Because you didn't read my fucking book.
I didn't realize there was a test today.
Sydney's one of the corruptions. No, he's corruption number 6. 6 is the magic number. Yeah, 666.
Boy,
now,
small things of you, small mind.
666 is Nero. It's nobody else. 666 is
Nero,
fucking Nero. Get used to it.
It's Nero,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Nero.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yes,
you know
of
that
course.
fucking Roman Empire trick.
Don't forget he's read Anton LaVey. This guy's a fucking expert on saying that. He's read a book.
Heroes, sir.
How many books have you read in the last 20 years?
I forgot more than that, cunt nose.
Emperor Nero Caesar.
She's who?
Yes, that's him. That's him.
Who's her?
He's the beast. He's the beast. Now you know what the 3 wars were? The 3 woes in Revelation. They were the 70 AD war. It's not a war. It was fucking belting that the Jewish people got.
God, you spew more bullshit by the second, Beasley.
No, it's all true. It's all
true. Because Beasley says so. Yeah.
No, it's what the fucking history says.
Sydney, think about it. Think for a fucking minute.
I don't have the
The Roman
capacity
Empire.
to think.
How much hope would the Roman Empire, would the Jewish folks have had against the Roman Empire? Does it make any fucking sense that they mount a rebellion? No fucking way. They were smashed to pieces, and the reason they got smashed to pieces is because they were trying to be sneaky bastards and undercut Rome. Agrippa, Herod Agrippa II.
Rob.
Was on trial. Shut up, Bobby. He was on trial. Right? Go and have a look at this. Hang on, Sydney, it's fucking out there.
You're hilarious, Rob Beasley.
If you go and have a look at the Smithsonian inquiry, you'll notice a name on there.
The only thing I'm interested in is what is this thing called good, and that is all I'm interested in talking about.
No. Going to do historicity. Do that.
No.
Historicity. So, Sydney, organise it. If you don't organise it, then I know for sure you're a coward.
Yeah, Rob, put a suck in it, mate.
Now that dude is called Bop-a-Lot or Boppy, whatever. He's a pommy dude. He's a gaslighter. He's got his nose out of joint because of fucking dominating. Not in a not in a mean, nasty way, but just, you know, I just don't tolerate bullshit in their mind games. Notice though how he comes in the room. We're having a discussion, Sydney and I, and he just feels free. This is what these pricks do, to just butt in whenever and say some sort of bullshit comment. So shut up, Bop-a-Lot.
Nice to see you back.
Tom Hardy, you're such a white knight, aren't you?
Yeah, egotistical, sadistic little prick.
Hey, is that what would Jesus say? What would Jesus say to people like us?
I'm not a big fan, but
What
I
would-
bet you'd be scared of me.
Hey, Rob,
No, no.
Rob, what would Jesus say to people like us?
Sorry, hang on, Sydney spoke.
Yes, what would Jesus say to people like us?
Stop being fucking assholes.
Pretty much the same thing you say to us.
Yeah, exactly.
What does Nicki Minaj want?
Well, Tom,
What do you want, Nicki? What?
Tom, wouldn't you say to these people, you give them some advice, wouldn't you just tell them, stop being fucking assholes?
Yeah, I just say fuck off. That's my advice.
I would just say
Fuck
to Tom, stop being narcissistic and put a fucking shirt on.
No, if you want to know a narcissist, look at John May. He's a fucking perfect classic example. That's a narcissist.
Rob, shut up.
Oh, and Bobby and that bloody Amy. Amy's a
What's
fucking
going in here? What do you mean, Amy?
What's your problem? I come home
Yeah,
to my flat is fucking red hot, so I've got fucking radiators on. You fucking
bullshit.
thing, man.
Bullshit, man. You're a liar. You're a
Oh,
fucking...
bullshit, yeah.
I want you to
Bullshit.
consult the...
I'm always lies,
I want you to consult the satanic rules of the earth. There are 11...
Okay, that'll do. Enough of that shit. Because it sort of goes round and round in circles. You know, we are straight shooters. We want to get to the truth, and they just want to fucking hide from it. Oh, hello, viewer number 2. I'm going to shut this down now, so we're done, I think. So stop the broadcast, blah. So stop that. Oh, pardon me. Stop the broadcast. I see you, viewers.